Hey guys, LC Holt here, and this is my update for the week of September the 17th. I have a very special guest with me today, someone I've known for a long time. She is the star of my first film as a writer-director, which is this movie here, Spiritus. It's going to be available for you to buy and order next month. But without further ado, let me introduce my very good friend, Rebecca Ivey. How are you, Rebecca?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't know, is that I was involved with making movies long before anyone ever knew me as an actor.
Yes.
And I have had many collaborators, and the one that's most known is Adam Wingard, the director of You're Next and Pop Skull, and probably most famously, well, I should say, I guess You're Next is the most famous one. But before I got up with Adam, I met you, and I think it was the first day of college, the first class of college, actually. Is that right?
That's correct. We were in Dr. Buckner's Rhetoric 101 together.
At Huntington College.
Huntington College, yes. Which a few years later, Adam would come and cast Homesick there.
That's right. And I don't think I've ever told this story, but there was a guy at Huntington named Trey Wingard.
Yes.
And he was the same age as us. And Adam is a little younger than we are. But I always used to hear that Trey's younger brother, Adam, liked making movies. And then next thing I knew, he was coming to the drama department at Huntington College to audition.
Which was a big year that year, because he came and auditioned for Homesick, and also that year Big Fish was stationed at our college. I'm dating us, Collins. Let the people know we're old. All the children out there, but yes.
That's right, yeah, because they were doing Big Fish at the same time, and actually we were filming some of Homesick while Big Fish was going on, if I recall.
Yes, because you were doing Homesick, and then you would do extra work on Big Fish.
That's right, yeah, and it was all at the same time, which is why I have that hair that I have in Homesick. I actually have the Big Fish hair in that movie.
The Beatles do, as they called it. They kept saying you were John Lennon.
Yeah, because that movie, my scenes in Your Next was set in the 50s or the 60s?
Not Your Next, Big Fish. Big Fish.
Oh, yeah, I keep going back to that.
We know you're...
Yeah, Big Fish. Big Fish I was set in the 50s or the 60s, right?
Yeah.
But I had this weird kind of thing going on when I was in college where I wanted to make a short film every semester that I was in college.
Yes, and most people probably wouldn't know, but when I met you, you were making comedies, dramedies.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what I started out with, because I kind of had this, I really was a fan of Woody Allen.
Yes.
And Woody Allen was able to make movies using basically one shot per scene or one or two angles. And since at that time there wasn't digital editing software, you just had to do it. I had to do it from one VCR to the next, or actually from the camera we filmed on onto a VCR. So I learned that you can't really cut smoothly that way. So the fewer shots, the better.
Yeah.
And so I used to shoot with just like a scene with just a couple shots, and it kind of forced you to be creative. And I justified it by saying, well, Woody Allen shoots everything in a wide shot or a couple shots, so maybe it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be mean. Did Woody Allen film all of his stuff on lunch breaks? I just remember the guerrilla filmmaking of let's sneak into. You would show up, and then you'd say, "Here are your lines. Learn them." And you're going, "Oh, okay." And then you would say, "I scoped out this room. Let's go here." And then we would sneak into a classroom or the chapel or a student lounge or something, and we would shoot very quickly before we were caught, and then and then run and basically, as you used to say, let's wrap this up so I can go eat.
Right.
and then off to class. That
Yeah.
was the directing style of Elsie Holt in college.
Yeah. That's the best way of putting it. I think you've articulated that perfectly.
I've got to sleep and I got to go eat.
Right.
Because
Right.
it was after class at night or after a show or rehearsal at Huntington Theater Department. Yeah, it was. I've
Now,
got to sleep.
did you audition for Homesick?
I think I did. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, but you met Wingard when I was working. Was it on when I was working on that one?
Well, I met him when he came in for auditions, and then, but I only think there was only one female role. I mean, I think they had two female roles, but I think they eventually became one. Is that what happened?
I think that's right. Yeah, and there was a big thing when they were auditioning that there was one requirement that all the women had to do.
Yes. Do you really want me to talk about that?
Yeah, say you can go ahead.
I think it was to show your boobies. And at the time, and I mean, I'm a little bit better now, but at the time, I definitely did not have boobies. I was built like an 8-year-old boy.
So you objected to the booby action.
Well, yeah. Well, I didn't. Well, I'm pretty sure he probably would have objected. He's like, well, there's nothing really to see. Heart. They want bazoombas and.
Yeah,
I think it
was. I think you're right. I think it was originally it was two women roles, and then they combined them both into the role that Tiffany Shepis played.
I think the role that probably my body type would have fit in was already cast. It was, what was her name? Lindley? Was that her name?
Yeah, Lindley Evans was the star of that movie of Homesick.
Yeah, and she was kind of, I guess. Well, I've just said I had fried egg breast. I'm not saying she does, but I would my body type probably would have fit better into Lindley than big bazoomba. Look at my jugs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was that was a long time ago because we were shooting that movie in 2003.
Yeah.
Homesick, and Homesick took a long time to shoot because it was on 16 millimeter, which is real expensive. And
get your lines right, or we're going to strangle you with what little film we have left.
Exactly, yeah, because we had to do it in maybe 2 takes, and that was all we had for that, and so it was tough, which led to some complications during shooting, which I probably shouldn't get into on this interview because this really isn't about Homesick so much.
But we also went to school with Matt Lira, who was in Homesick.
He was, yeah. He was my roommate later. He played one of the drug dealers.
Yes, and he was in the scenes with Brandon, who I met through you guys.
Yeah, and Brandon he was in Homesick and then in Pop Skull. I actually made 2 movies with Brandon Carroll before I ever met him.
Yes.
But we all kind of became friends because you and I were continuing to make movies that nobody saw while I was acting in Wingard stuff. And I mean, it was intentionally that we never really tried to get them seen too, though.
Well, in college, you just turned them in for, some of them were graded by, we had video production class and then also like a capstone type stuff.
Yeah, they were sort of graded.
Your capstones was actually a play you wrote. I don't know if people know that you have written plays, but yeah. But I do remember spring semester, senior year, I know the one that you did that year was turned in as an independent study credit, if I remember correctly.
I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right. As I recall, too, you and I had a very interesting college experience because I was a theater major from the beginning. I think you were undeclared at first, but you eventually became.
I don't like commitment, so I wouldn't commit until basically they said, if you don't commit by noon today, you will not be graduating. So I said, okay. So at 11:59, I'm signing the paper going, oh God, I've made a commitment for 1 semester of being a major. But yeah,
Well, what do you think for like people who want to be actors? Do you think they should go to college and do theater in college, or should they just do community theater?
I don't know. I mean, I would probably, just because I'm cheap, I would say save your money because college is really expensive. You do get a lot of great experience at community theaters, and sometimes college theaters will that I've known of will sometimes cast out of the community, but yeah, community theater definitely. It's a great resource if you have it in your town or near where you live.
And also student films, I think, or people in your area that want to do films. I think that's always good because I did a lot of films without ever getting paid, but that's how you build a reputation with people who want to be a director, that this guy's going to take it seriously regardless of whether you're getting paid or not.
Well, the difference is when we were doing it, there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't anything. I mean, even was it Trigger Street didn't come out until we were probably, would you say, juniors in college when that hit?
I almost want to say we were seniors, but
Yeah.
I think junior, yeah, because I was living with Lero, so I guess it would have been junior.
Yeah, but today, I mean, I think it's a little bit easier because you can, if you've got a Mac, or have the software on your PC, you can go shoot and edit something together, put it on YouTube. You can put it, they're just a lot of, I know a lot of kids that are actors and they have their own YouTube page and they put together little short films. And this is, 10, 11-year-olds that are doing, and they're putting their little projects up on YouTube.
Yeah. I remember when our college experience was over after we graduated, us having a conversation about about YouTube and saying, wow, imagine if we had had this just a year ago.
Yeah.
Because it is a great tool to get yourself out there. And now, you have YouTube stars and stuff like that.
Yeah. Are you saying we could have been YouTube stars?
I doubt we would have been YouTube stars.
Oh, okay. D-list?
We might have been D-list, yeah. Yeah. We might have had a subscriber or two. But I wanted to kind of we have to skip through a little bit because we don't have, we could really talk forever because we've known each other so long. But, if we go from our experiences of making my films in college to what we did after college, I actually tried to make a feature-length film that no one saw not long after college, actually a couple of them. And one of them was really good. It was called The Weekend.
The Weekend. I loved making The Weekend. That was the first time I worked with Brandon, who was in Homesick, and Popsicle. I'd never met him, and you introduced me. And at first meeting, I was a little, okay. And then I had a lot of fun. It was a cinema verite type film, which at the time I guess no one was doing. I guess you could call it now a found footage film.
It is sort of a found footage. It's sort of the mumblecore before there was mumblecore, only because that wasn't something at the time.
No. I just remember, but I don't think it made it into the final cut because you were going to have like two versions. You had one weekend and then you had a second weekend, but it was the same weekend. I remember what was it? Weekend Volume 1, Volume 2, but it's the same weekend.
I think it was like Weekend White and Weekend Black.
Okay.
One was going to have inverted colors on the poster. One would be like primarily white with black lettering, and the other one would be white, or the reverse of that.
Yeah, and I just remember
I don't know, but there was finished though. There was one that was totally finished. The 2-part was not finished. I was going for this Lars von Trier thing, Volume 1 and Volume 2 of a film about people sitting around talking.
I was trying to remember that and it just popped in my head again. That my character was obsessed with what's his name? Don't Look Back.
Bob Dylan.
No, not Bob Dylan, the filmmaker.
Oh, Pennebaker.
Pennebaker, yes. I don't know why I couldn't remember that because I like his films, but yeah.
Yeah, because your character in this, we're talking about a movie no one will ever see. So, but your character in the movie was like a documentarian.
Yes, her thing, but you didn't really, it just kind of mentioned a little bit, but you never heard about the Pennebaker thing, but that she just carried cameras around and just filmed everything. And
that was the idea, and that the two versions of the film would be basically the main thing, and then the main kind of story, and then you'd see the missing pieces.
Yeah.
It was kind of a weird artsy sort of idea, but like I said, that's one project we worked on.
And Adam was in it.
He was. Yeah, Wingard actually acted in that movie.
Yeah.
Which, come to think of it, maybe people would want to see that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But regardless, that eventually led to the movie that's coming out next month, which is Spiritus. And as you noted before, we went on the air. You're actually not on the cover of the
I'm not on the cover.
Yeah, but if you turn it on the back, though, you are on the back there.
Oh.
Yeah, you're on the back.
That's not good.
So let's kind of talk about how Spiritus came about. Spiritus was a movie that I wrote. It was a title first, and then I came up with a story, and then I married the title and the story together. And it's basically the story about a young girl named Marjorie Hines, who has died, and people think she's killed herself. And a year later, her friends are still curious about all the circumstances surrounding Marjorie's death. One of her best friends is played by you, and you begin to investigate the circumstances surrounding her death, thinking that maybe there was more to it than suicide. You play a character named Samantha. So what was your, how did I approach you? Did I just give you the script, or?
I think you messaged me and then you sent me the script. You emailed it to me.
And what did you think when you read the script, dare I say? Oh, well, she liked the script. That's good.
I liked it. Oh, yeah, I have to talk so you see me. I forget
Yeah.
this concept of Google Hangouts.
Yeah, so she liked it. And then
Good.
you made a choice in the movie to have blonde hair, too. You're usually a brunette, right? Or did you have blonde at that time?
Actually a brunette, but yes, I was kind of going through a phase where I was thinking, I was blonde for a little bit, and then I went back, and then I went blonde again. So, and it happened to be same time, and I was like, well, this might be fun to look, different.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
It was a good look. It was a good Samantha look. And you got to work with quite a few people in that movie, but it was sort of a movie kind of like Homesick in a way that you didn't get to work with all the cast, but you got to work with some people pretty closely.
Yes.
Do you have any memories of the experience of filming Spiritus?
It went pretty smoothly. It was pretty,
Yeah, it was a really painless shoot.
It wasn't painful. There've been projects I've worked on where it was like birthing a child, but no, this one was pretty painless. I mean, the only thing that it had nothing to do with filming, but it was I left filming that day. I think I was one of the first ones actors dismissed that day. I filmed in the morning, and then I was leaving, and I remember I didn't make it too far. I think it was 2 blocks down from the house where we were filming, and my light came on in my car, and it was my tire light. And I remember I got out of the car and I had a flat tire, and there's this broken pocket knife sticking out of my tire, not the side but the bottom. So I'd run over a pocket knife, which was really weird, and I'm sitting there struggling trying to get this flat done, and I'm calling people because I'm weak, and someone from the cast crew, I'm not saying which side of the camera, who it is, but they just passed by me. I'm sitting there struggling with this tire. They didn't see me, but it was still kind of funny, as they sped by, and I'm in.
It was just tail lights.
Yes, because it was hot. It was beginning of summer. It was almost 100. It felt like it was 100 degrees. I'm like soaked in sweat, and they're speeding past, slinging gravel at me.
Yeah, that was the thing about that shoot that I remember most was it was just hot as hell. And we started shooting your stuff in May, and it was already hot. May and
And this scene was closer towards the end of May. That's why I said like begin. Yeah, and it was hot. It was hot.
yeah, because I think we started shooting on the last week of May, so it was already into June by that point.
It was like so hot. Like the last weekend we filmed, I remember my hair had to be curled. It was so hot and humid. My hair just started to like straighten. I don't see that in the film. I don't know if the continuity gods caught that, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't really remember. I don't think it shows in the film.
Okay, because it was my hair was a hot mess from the humidity.
Yeah. And you got to have some pretty cool stuff to do in Spiritus. Yeah, you got. Well, we can't go too much into it because the movie hasn't come out yet, and it's not going to come out until next month. So it's kind of tough.
And I'm also old, so it was filmed a while back. So
yeah, we filmed it 2 years ago. That's what a lot of people don't know is with independent filmmaking, it takes a long time.
Yes. So when people ask me questions, do you remember this? I don't remember. I don't. So much has happened in my life since then.
Yeah.
I don't remember specifics until you start talking, and then oh yeah, I do remember that now. But yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes you'll make a movie even as an actor on something that's bigger. You'll make a movie, and like 2 weeks later, people go, "So when's it coming out?" It's like, "Oh Lord."
Yeah. Must go. Didn't you work on that like 4 years ago? And you're going, well, that's sometimes how it works out, or sometimes it gets shelved and you never see or hear from it again.
Yeah, that's right. Because Homesick, the one we were talking about earlier, my first film with Wingard, that went on. We filmed it for a long time because we were doing it basically when they could raise money to buy film and process it. So it was in these little chunks, and then we finished filming, I guess, in 2003, and it came out in 2007. So that'll give you an idea of how long it took between the end of filming until it came out. 2003 to 2007. So this is actually on Spiritus. We shot it 2 years ago. It's coming out pretty quick by that. Well, I mean, even Your Next was filmed in 2011, and it came out in, what, 2014?
2014, yep.
Yeah, that was a long time, but that was a long story, too, of why Your Next took so long. But, it takes a long time, these movies.
Yes.
Have you ever thought about getting behind the camera and directing something?
The only time it crossed my mind was in college when we did video production classes.
You kind of like in front of the camera better?
Probably, yeah. It's not as stressful to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you and I worked on treatments and things like that, and I remember you used to send me scripts, and I guess you would say I would kind of be like a little script doctor when you did the comedies, because that was more of my speed. But yeah, I mean, I think the editing part is what's really stressful for me as well.
Because you directed a music video in that production class, as I recall.
That's correct. Yes.
Was it Weezer?
Yeah. We got to pick a song, and then and you were in it.
I was in it. Yeah, I ate a dog.
And my little dog too.
I ate a dog biscuit.
Yes, I made him eat a dog biscuit in my music video.
Yeah, I don't recommend people eating dog biscuits because it sounded like a great idea until I put it in my mouth.
And he did not get paid for that dog biscuit eating.
Nope, did not get paid. It sort of tastes like what you imagine Play-Doh would taste like. It tastes like the smell of Play-Doh.
I wouldn't know because I didn't eat one. I'm one of those directors.
Yeah, you left it up to me entirely to eat that.
That's right.
Well, we're talking about music videos. Let's kind of segue from that into your musical career, because another thing I've known about you for as long as I've known you is you love music and that you're a songwriter. You're a musician yourself.
Yeah.
where did the love of music come from? Was that before acting in films? Was it simultaneous to it, or was it
Um,
after?
well, probably since I was little kid. Um, just growing up watching MTV, and my dad played guitar, so I was kind of around it. And so yeah, it was definitely way before I decided, let's try this acting thing, you know. So I high school I did the choir, and I always written silly little songs and stuff, but I didn't really start putting pen to paper until maybe college, senior year of college. Started writing a lot of my own stuff. I always say I started writing my own stuff because I couldn't play other people's music.
Was there an inspiration to you? What are like your top? You know, I hate when people say what's your top five anything, but right off the top of your head, five, three. What would you say the top inspirations were you musically would be?
I love Debbie Harry. Um, got really into Bob Dylan in college. Amy Mann, I liked her a lot. This guy named Eve Barzilay, I'm not sure if anyone knows who he is, but he's awesome. He's in a band called Clem Snide, and I really liked his style. Um, he's probably influenced my writing style probably the most. And of course, most young girls my age, maybe a little bit older, would say, you know, early Madonna. And Cyndi Lauper was a big one. Really big Cyndi Lauper fan when I was a kid.
We're bringing up Madonna and early Madonna. What do you think about Madonna these days?
I want to be positive right now.
Not a big fan, eh?
Just maybe I'm just not in the headspace for it. I don't know.
What was the song she did that was like, I'm so stupid? Do you remember that song?
I think it was I'm So Stupid. It was off the American Life album. I don't know why you're bringing this up, because you were there that day at school when I came in with that album and I played it. And because I always used to buy her albums the day they came out, because I'm OCD like that. And a lot of artists that I like their music, I used to have to go out the day it came out. And yeah, there were some good songs on it, that album, but overall I was kind of like, okay, I don't really.
Was that the one that had Die Another Day on it, or was that a different one?
I think, yes, it had Die Another Day.
Yeah, that was a pretty good song. Yeah. I do remember hearing the I'm So Stupid song, though, and going, wow, Madonna, that's not the Madonna that I know, that I remember.
No.
She kind of got into a techno phase at some point and just never got out of it.
Yeah.
But another person that I remember, we used to talk about Clem Snide a lot in college.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard that name in a while. Does Eve Barsley, has he gone solo?
Yeah, he went solo. Yeah, in the 2000s. I mean, he's done stuff with Clem Snide, but he does a lot of solo albums.
Yeah. We talked a lot, I remember, about Blondie, because I was a huge fan of Debbie Harry, because she had done several movies. I mean, you have Videodrome, which horror fans definitely know, the David Cronenberg movie.
Yeah.
She was very good in that, and that was a great.
And Hairspray. She was in the original Hairspray.
Yeah. Yeah. Good old Debbie Harry. Multi-talented.
Mm-hmm.
And American Gigolo. Can't forget about American Gigolo.
Yeah, she did the song for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know that tonight you're going to do a song for us, which I'm very appreciative of, a song called Who I Am.
Yeah, it's actually an older one I've written, which no one would probably know, but yeah.
Well, let's hear it.
Oh, you want me to do it right now?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. Let me get the old guitar. All the cool kids, they just sit around and they brag about all the dope that they found, and as they deny me, they will classify me, 'cause they don't know who I am. All you got, friends, you just spread the news when you talk about all the girls that you screwed, and when you're done with Sally, you'll update your tally like some great I am. Seems to me you got a little shallow. Seems to me you got a little shorter. Seems to me I gotta stay strong. All the grown-ups, they just send me to school, and they expect me to follow all their fucking rules, and as they try to teach me, they will never reach me, 'cause they don't know who I am. No, they don't understand.
Very good. Enjoyed it. And if you want to know more about Rebecca's music, you can go down to the YouTube description and you can find her Reverb Nation. And you have you have a lot of songs in there, don't you? A good bit.
Yeah, this is a lot of old demos. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show and performing for us.
And you can also, because I think Reverb Nation does a page on Facebook as well. So you can find my music page on Facebook.
Awesome. Awesome.
A lot of the tracks. I'm working on some new recordings, so.
Cool. And we have Spiritus, of course. I'll show it again for the third time. Let me get it where you can see it. That's a film that I wrote and directed that Rebecca co-produced as well. Rebecca's starring in it as Samantha Goss. It's going to be available next month in October. We'll have the exact date for you soon. But I want to again thank Rebecca for coming on the show. Thanks, Beck.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I hope it's too boring.
No, it was fun. I'm glad. And we could do probably even more with all the stories that we have. But as for you guys, I appreciate you watching. It's been a lot of fun. And I will see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got some cool interviews coming up. And I will see you all later. Take care of yourselves.
Bye.